Welcome to the Speaking Podcast. You can find all our episodes on speakingpodcast.com. My guest, she helps coaches overcome the fear of selling by building a money-making habit so you will never have an empty calendar again. From CFO to business coach and growth strategist, she's a Russian living in Israel. Please welcome Lidia Chmel. I should have done that prior to make sure that I do it justice, and I didn't, and I just thought of it as I was reading it. But how do I pronounce the surname?
Yeah, it's Chmel. And, don't worry because almost nobody get it right the first time. Actually, the name has a Polish origin. It's my husband's name and it has Polish origin and it's called Chmel. Very hard to get anyone anywhere in the world to get it right. So that's okay. I actually thinking of using the um stage name. I don't know, whatever you use it, professional name. I'm actually really, really considering changing it.
I mean, like we kind of just mentioned prior to God, but because you're in Israel and people see that, and also from Russia, and I saw that you kind of went from Russia to Portugal back to Russia. Now, I mean, that's a lot of moving, but also kind of from countries that are kind of on the map at the moment. You might just tell me all the moving and how it feels and what's going on.
No, of course, of course. And look, so I'm Russian origin, 4 kids, a husband, a dog, like a hands full, right? And um, kind of trying to shorten it, condense the story. In a few minutes, look, Russia was going into the wrong direction. It was obvious. I think it became very obvious 2014, right? The Crimea crisis and whatnot. And we started to plan moving abroad. And, at that point, um, Israel was never the most attractive place. And I'm sorry to say that because right now we're here and it's very welcoming us. But, I always knew that Middle East is a ticking bomb. And I have 3 boys who are now teenage. So I'm like, yeah, that's not what I want for them. So we moved to Europe. In Europe, we always, our boys went to the British school, so they were all fluent in English, and we moved to Portugal. And Portugal is a lovely place, like amazing. We lived in Porto, next to the ocean. Um, Nice people, calm. Uh, uh, you know, Kids went to the British school, but then 4.5 years later, unfortunately, the Russia-Ukrainian war started, right? And our type of visa was just frozen, right? That was one of the element, but also um, my husband and me, we still were working while living in Portugal. We still were working with Russia a lot. Like majority of our business was. I had a coaching practice where my clients lived in Russia, right? And my husband used to work on the board of directors of Russian companies. Now with the war, it was a ethical choice, a moral choice. Obviously, we didn't support the war anymore. Um, so we had to give it up. So no visa, no money, no job, and kind of okay. 2 choices we had: go back to Moscow, Russia, which was not really the option, or go to Israel. I have a Jewish roots. My parents live here, and this is the only country where you can quickly get the passport, which is very difficult anywhere else in the world, and get some support again from the friends and family, because of the war. A lot of my friends from Moscow actually moved here. So 2 years ago, we moved again. Was It was difficult, it was stressful, but Israel is very immigrant friendly country compared to, I guess, Portugal, because I experienced that, because it's kind of always welcoming immigrants to come back. So in terms of adaptation, I guess it was easier, I would say, than Portugal, but still has its own challenges, the language and just setting up your life, basically packing up your life. And it's just not me, but the whole family, and kind of making sure everyone has their place. Anyway, so we're here. we restarted our life pretty much 2 years ago. My husband started his consulting business, started looking for clients, international clients. I restarted my business, my coaching business, kind of refocused to the English-speaking audience and to the business focus. So that's where we are today.
And I mean, it's a lot of people probably don't even think of what happened, because I remember there was somebody that I knew here that was from Belarus, and they went back with their mother because their grandfather was sick, and they weren't allowed back into the country, yet they were working here. And it's like, and then I look at Ireland. I mean, I'm Irish, but living in Poland, and I see they're bringing in people, giving passports, throwing their own on the street, and I can't understand how a country, when you're totally integrated, and then just go, oh, Russia bad, you have to get out, kind of thing. And like, no government should have that control.
Yeah. And now we could have stayed in Portugal, I guess, but there was so much uncertainty there because European Union decided that it was, I don't know if it happened, but it was like, we'll froze all your money and all your property that you bought just because you have Russian passport. You're like, oh, shit. I can't let that happen. Again, I have a family, I have kids, I have to take care. So we moved here in Israel because I wanted, a little bit more stability, at least in some space. Yeah, I agree. I think everyone faced the war and nobody really expected it to happen. And I think the reaction, and I don't want to bring any political issues here, but I think like how government reacted to COVID, like totally, to pandemic, like totally unprepared, totally all over the place, and sometimes over the board, sometimes under the board. So I think with the war, that's what happened, right? Some sanctions were really counterproductive, and then yeah, and it affected so many people. Well, anyway, like we discussed just before we hit the record, the only way I was able to go through this, and then the Israeli war started a year ago. Okay, that was kind of a bonus level, I call it. Like if it was not enough, we got the bonus level. Okay, that brought a lot of stress and anxiety, and obviously security stress. So the only way I was able to go through it, because some people around me just melted down, unable to function, had to get on medication, or, just whatever, because it was just too much. So what helped me is I was a coach for a long time, studied positive psychology, studied resilience, studied a lot of theory that I just apply every day. I say, look, I got what you got. This is the cards that have been dealt. I cannot change those cards. So the only thing I could do, I can make the best of them. And again, I can get through this and show other people, if they use the practices of positive psychology, of resilience, practice of mind shifting, of reframing, of daily habits, because I love habits and I got certified in that. If they use it, they can get through even this.
And because I believe you've helped people become a coach in 12 months. And I like to see that, because there's people, they go in, they do their kind of online course, and after a weekend, I'm a coach. And unfortunately, a lot of people are unable to know real professional coaches to those that just kind of decided to be a coach overnight and now they're a coach. So because it does take time so you might just take us through the process, why you believe it takes 12 months.
No, absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up. I think that's my pain, but also my motivation, because I see a lot of misleading messages that people, hey, take this course and you will get to 6 figures, 7 figures. Yes, you can, but let me just throw some statistics at people listening, watching. 0.2% 0.2% of coaches get above 6 figures, so 100,000 and more.
Is it that low? 0.2%.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
I mean, this is what makes me angry, but also motivates me to do what I do. Honestly, this is my fuel. And then another statistics I'm gonna throw at our listeners: 81% of coaches give up by year 3. 80%, 81% of coaches give up by year 3. Again, because of that, they have just wrong expectations, because nobody tells them that they will need to build the coaching business. And you can take the coaching in the brackets. They will need to build a business. Now, being a coach is a challenging task in itself because it's a craft, right? You cannot learn it. You can learn the theory, the basics, but you need to practice this. And with every year, you become better. It's a mastery path. And in mastery, we know those 10,000 hours, right? Come on. You cannot get over it. Now, that's a coaching craft, right? Which is challenging, which is, you need to practice to become a real great coach. Now, the part that I think everybody, or almost everybody, misses, and that's why we see those percentages that are just crazy, is because people don't realize that you need to build a business. And building a business, requires different skill set. So you need to learn those skills. And then it requires resilience. As we know, business is going up and down, up and down. You need to learn to love failure and rejection. You just need to fall in love with it. You need to fall in love with selling. And it's kind of my, area of focus, because people think they somehow can get away without becoming good at selling. If you build in your business, 100%, this is what you need to learn. Therefore, 12 months is kind of a good, and again, it will depend person by person, niche by niche, situation by situation. But this is kind of the minimum to get to something meaningful, something stable, something where you can learn the skills, both business building and craft coaching, and practice it and kind of go through this experimentation, trying and error, ups and downs, to get to something where you can, okay, I this is the niche I'm claiming, because I've seen coaches and I've done myself, changing the niche, changing the marketing, the platform where you want to promote yourself. Am I doing the podcast? Am I doing the YouTube videos? Am I the Instagram girl or boy? So in 12 months, you can reliably come up with something that you can be more confident saying, this is what I like, this is what I'm good at, this is what works for me. Now let's grow. Now let's scale it.
and with the social media, because it's a minefield out there. And we tried organic with some of the businesses, and people just get abusive, like this. So, like, are you better off mastering the one? A lot of people, LinkedIn kind of works for them on the thing, but I see other people, they grow like Instagram or whatever, but others, they try to do 50 different things and they just don't do any right. So do you, when you're talking to these people, say master one and then kind of build from there?
Absolutely. And we have to thank, in air quotes, Gary Vee, who's saying you need to be on the 50 platform, pushing 100 pieces of content a day. And, thanks, Gary. That's right. But it does not apply to solopreneurs or, one-person business, to coaches who just starting out. It's just not the right strategy. So, and because for a number of years I was a productivity coach, right? And I'm just obsessed about productivity. Again, misinterpret terms, but the good productivity. And thus, I'm a strong believer in focus. The rule of one, I really love the rule of one. So you need to stay long enough in one niche. That means you're solving one problem for one particular client. Then you're using one solution, again, the rule of one. Then you're doubling down on one platform for 1 year. Well, or at least 3 months. Okay. So the rule of one, the rule of focus, this is my Bible, this is my religion. Okay. I think again, because majority of coaches, majority of my clients still have their job, still have their full-time job. And I fully support that approach where people start something up as a side hustle, right? And before they figure out all those experimentation, all those ups and downs, they have something to support themselves, their families. Now, that means that you don't have the luxury of unlimited time, not even 24 hours. You're lucky if you get like 2-3 hours, right? That means even more that you have to focus and you have to be strategic. You have to choose something. But then I think the biggest mistake is that they just don't do it long enough again, because the social noise telling them that there is an overnight success. They should be getting viral posts out. Forget about that. Forget about that. This is the biggest mistake. Just, this meme, this picture when there's a guy kind of digging for diamonds. And then when there is only a few centimeters, he just turns away and goes away. This meme, that's my favorite meme, because I've done it myself, probably. You cannot tell it until you get there, but I've seen coaches give up just too quickly.
And like, the main thing really is like sometimes people decide, oh, I'm a coach, and they might have the experience and they expect, it's like they open a shop door, they expect people to be running to them, and then they realize they hear crickets. A lot of the time they do get some marketing or paid marketing or whatever, and they do like a pre-call or a call just to see are they a match and everything. And just through loads of my guests, I see so many different things, because I'm obviously going through their websites and just checking, and I see from 15 minutes up to an hour, even longer. Is it dependent on what you're offering, or what's your advice on the time that you should spend? Because it's okay if you know you're converting 1 in 4, but if it's 1 in 100, them 15 minutes add up.
All right. Well, I have my personal opinion. I think a lot in this world became transactional. Okay. And coaching is partnership. You building a relationship with your client. So I don't think it works for coaches. Maybe for consultant, maybe for selling software. I don't know. I believe in coaching, you want to build relationship, and these relationships with your potential clients. So, for me, 15 minutes never work. Even 30 minutes could be problematic. And I'd rather have less calls, but deeper connections. And maybe you don't get the client right away. You don't get this sale right away, but you start building relationship, and you can follow up, and you can get out of this a partnership. You can get a potential collaboration. You can get, it can turn out into. So now you need to be very clear on what this call is about. It's not free coaching. I'm not an advocate to giving the free coaching. So these calls
That's
need
good
to be
you said that, because a lot of people, they go around, they do the runs to offload their problems, get the answer, and then it's goodbye and move on to the
No,
next.
that's not going to work. No, I'm not an advocate of giving free coaching, because people like, thank you, bye.
Yeah.
Thank you, next. No, you need to come. Well, as a coach, you should know you need to come to every call with a clear purpose. Now, your purpose is to build relationship, okay? To listen, to learn, because I think those calls, again, it's not just sales calls. These are your marketing research. These are your understanding of your potential, your ideal client situation, hearing this word, recording this word. So, I think 30 to 45 minutes to me is like the sweet spot. Again, depending on, I'm a talkative person. You can notice that. So for me, I probably lean toward a longer, like 45 minutes conversation. But I learned to make it shorter. But the main goal is to listen, not to talk, not doing not doing your coaching. What you wanna do is build relationship. I hope that answers.
No, absolutely. And I'm curious as well, because I've seen different versions of this as well. Some people, they kind of send the email with the list, and they also set up the financial expectation. So they're not getting people spending 45 minutes with somebody that has like thinking it's going to be $50 an hour kind of thing when you could be at 500, whatever the level that people are. So do you think it's better to be upfront and say, look, this is the kind of level that I'm dealing with?
100%. 100%. I think setting expectations, making everything clear, I think it's important because that's what we teaching people. When we coaching people on, that used to be clear. You definitely don't want to waste a 45-minute on a call where there's obviously no, even in a future, no kind of, there is no match. So I'm always very clear. First of all my prices are out there, and I always say there are options, right? There are options how we can do, and they're affordable. There are different levels, and I think again, in today's world, a lot of economic instability, political instability, whatever instability out there. So people are not, I see the trend that people are not willing as much as before to spend large amount of cash upfront, especially if this is someone new, especially if they don't know, if there is no guaranteed result. In this coaching, you cannot guarantee the result, right? So offering a different options, I think this is key. So kind of different packages, different level of support, different modalities of coaching. I love chat-based coaching, as a hybrid approach of the live session with the text-based support. So being upfront with your prices, what is your level, what is your expectation, who do you want to, like, who do you work with, who you don't work with. Now the second is even more important. And then at the call, I have it on my booking page. Like, this is not a free coaching call. I make it very clear. This is a discovery call. We get to know each other, get to see if we are the right fit. And what I say at the end, I will make you an offer with how I can help you. So 100%. No, you don't.
That's fantastic. Yeah, there's a lot of.
You don't have to take it. You don't have to take it. Like, there is no obligation, right? I'm not going to charge you if but I'm very clear. What is the purpose? How it's going to be structured? And why you want to get on the call with me?
No, I think that's fantastic, and I prefer dealing with that kind of situation. The next one now, and this could be with all the different clients, I'm not talking about you specifically, but I have seen people using the kind of you're afraid to make decisions and that's what's holding you back, and using kind of slimy sales tactics to get them to buy by using manipulation and kind of like, yeah, I know by you shaking your head. I'm the same. I would never in a million years do that, but I have seen people do it.
No, absolutely. And there are a lot of sales tactics. Well, actually,
There's a lot of sales taxes as well.
Yeah, and taxes as well. No, manipulation is not on my playbook. And I think what I teach sort of authentic marketing. So check in. What I do, the easiest way, check in with yourself. If you were on the other side and someone do it to you, how would you feel? What would you feel? What would you think? Would you work with that person? And my answer is clear. Like you would describe, I'm like, no. It's people feel manipulation. People and someone is teaching that, and that's okay. Actually, that brings me to like my selling method. I think selling is very easy if you stop seeing it as selling. You're offering help. So take the money out of that. So that's why I actually don't go to the sales courses, the sales kind of, because I think selling, if you take the money out of it, is just offering people to help, being authentic. If I'm able, if people, that's why the discovery call is about, okay, what's your problem? What you've tried before? What is your biggest obstacle? What worked before? So kind of a lot of inquiry. And then, what do you want? What is your expectation? And then authentically, I assess my ability to help, my experience, my method. And if I believe that I can help, that's what I do. The only thing that is different is just I tell, and that costs that much. That's all. So yeah, any pushing sleazy tactics, I don't believe in them at all. They don't resonate with my values in all what I do, all my marketing in the broader sense, all my messaging is always based on my values. And if it doesn't, values and principles are based on values. And if they don't align, yeah, it's just, it's not for me.
I mean, with the podcast and everything, I'm always watching things. I'm big into marketing and everything, and so I'll have a discovery call with somebody, or that are trying to sell me something, and I listen to it, and then they're trying to get the sale and the thing, and I have put,
and you can feel it.
Oh,
and you can feel it.
I say I will never do that. No matter, even if I want something, I'll always say it, and they go, oh, they give you the special offer. I should do it now, and I it's happened recently where I said I don't make a decision on a call. And the person went from completely nice to you saw the true colors, that they became nasty. They went into panic stage and everything. And if they hadn't done that, because I actually liked what they were doing, I was like, no way would I become a customer. But if they had kept their composure and accepted, I totally understand that, and left you off to just take your time, they would have probably got a sale. And there's a lot of people that kind of do that. And I encourage everybody, don't be pushed into a sale. If someone is making you, hey, today you have to go because that's the time, you don't do it.
No, I think it comes back a few points. And I want another example of this, when you buy something and then there's very aggressive upsell, is like, and buy this and also this. Oh, you also need this. I'm like, hey, I just bought something. Let me enjoy it. Let me try it. If I like it, I want to buy from you. I will buy more. So this aggressive kind of upsell, downsell, cross-sell, like, oh my God, people, are you mad? You just making me ask for refund. I just want to don't be in this aura, in this space. So that's why. So I want to go back. That's why I said this discovery call, the goal is to build relationship. The sale is a bonus. If you can make a sale, if they're ready and you can help, that's kind of a bonus. So I'm doing this call to build relationship, the long-term relationship. I think, again, short-term versus long-term for coaches, we just talked. It's a long-term game, right? So, and that brings me to another point. That's why I think desperate coach. And I think the book, got the name of the book, Prosperous Coach, talks about it a lot. The desperate coach is a really bad idea, you see. And what you just described could be someone who's like so desperate to make the sale, they switch, they become aggressive, they become manipulative, because they desperately need this sale. So it's our responsibility as coaches to make sure we have money to pay the bills. And it does not depend on this particular sale, because then you will be in the right state of mind, state of composure, and you're like, cool, I just want to learn about you. If I can help, this is, I can help. Yeah, relationship and not being desperate. It's just it's just so bad when you see that.
Yeah, definitely. So I know that I think you have a course yourself. Learn how to get 10 coaching clients in 30 days. And just what I want to say is you have a disclaimer on that. And I actually loved reading that, because you're actually stating that the results are based on your effort, but you've done it in detail, that it's actually stating exactly people's backgrounds, because you cannot give a guarantee in that, because I could teach you everything and you do half it and you're going, it's not working. And so it's impossible. But just by stating it in the way that it's done, I actually liked your disclaimer. I thought it was actually very well written.
Oh, thank you. No, of course. I know what I offer works because I've done it myself for the last, at least 8 years, right? In various niches of coaching, online education, online kind of biz, right? And I also have seen it work with my clients. So I know it works. But, and this is a big but, unfortunately, um, do you know that only 9% of people fulfill their New Year resolutions?
Well, I wouldn't be one of them. I make a list of what I want to do and I make sure I cross it off.
Well, you one of those 9%, but this is the thing. It requires consistent daily effort. And that's where, and I think this is one of the biggest kind of elephant in the room that people are not yet everyone's seen, and I'm trying to talk about it more. We have so much knowledge and information available to us. This is a blessing and a curse, right? The blessing is it's all out there. Like in my course, I'm not telling you the secrets that you wouldn't hear anywhere, right? What I do, of course, when you buy something versus free, it is structured and it is lined up in a certain way, in a certain order, and I'm sharing my practical experience. So there is some value in the information, but I think it's just 20% of the course that I'm sharing, the value of the course. The 80% that I'm offering, I focus on the mindset that needs to be there for the consistent result, the resilience, how to overcome self-doubt, how to overcome perfectionism, because these are bigger issues than not knowing what marketing tactic to use or not knowing how to post on Instagram or whatnot. These are this is a red herring. This is the wrong issues to focus on. And then secondly, I offer accountability and support. Because accountability, I will be there through the chat-based coaching, which is an amazing way, affordable way to have someone in your phone every day saying, hey, did you do what you said to do today? And statistics say 91% of people need that. They won't be able to achieve their goal without someone by their side.
And like, because I mean, the $1 million question is getting the clients, and so there's a load of like podcast. I got a load of clients do podcasting tours. They get a lot of clients from that, so that definitely works without a doubt. So that that's the kind of business model that I've created myself that helps. We've tried the organic, doesn't work as much as we thought, but we have got clients from it. And then there's paid, and I mean, there's all different. Like some people think you don't need to pay, but I mean, from reading some of the top guys like Frank Kearns, Dan Kennedy, and Russell Pulse, a lot of the different guys, and just looking at a lot of the organizations that I would have spoke to see, hey, if you can do this better than me, I'm happy to give you the money. None of them will actually work on a basis of clients. Hey, I'll give you X amount for not one, which I do that, and I get a lot of clients because I'm actually believing.
I do so.
It's what I do. And it works out for me because I say, if I don't get you clients, I don't earn money. So what's the point in me expecting you to pay me money and you're not earning money? That's not a fair, but, and obviously you get a better markup on something like that because you're putting skin in the game. But with the paid, it looks to me, the cheapest you'll get of that is at 10% and it goes up to 30%. And I'd love to know your experience between yourself and your clients with paid marketing, what kind of money that you're looking at to get on the return.
Okay. So first of all, I use paid. I use Facebook ads, Meta ads consistently. I'm now experimenting with LinkedIn ads because I think these are underutilized and a little bit scary, but I think we still can find a way how to use them. And there is a very good quality audience out there.
Yeah.
So maybe it will cost a bit more, but you get a better return. So I'm experimenting with LinkedIn ads. Now, because I work with new coaches, starting out coaches, kind of mainly, I don't recommend to start using paid right away. Just want to say that as a disclaimer, right? I think before, and I don't know if it's 12 months, 6 months, again, it will depend. But before you figure out what is your niche, what is your offer, like you need to get, before you get paid, at least it's my approach, you need to get your offer irresistible. Like, otherwise you just pour in water, the money in the ads into the bucket with the holes. Now you don't want that, right? You want a solid base. You want to pour money and you get the full bucket. So I guess that's the disclaimer. First, test your offer as much as you can. And I use in my bootcamp and in my practice the outreach, both warm and cold. Warm, I love warm more because again, that's just easier and that's kind of more fulfilling. Cold outreach is tough, although you can win. You just need to have more time, more resilience, and more rejection immunity, I guess, to do the cold. Now, once you kind of figure out, or at least have some, obviously I use paid, and 2.5, 3 again for the entry. It also depends what is your entry offer. And I think ads today, one of the trends I see, that it's better to use ads for the paid offer, low ticket entry offer. That could be a course, that could be ebook, that could be something template that they can try at a lower cost. But by using ads to that offer, you get better quality clients, and then you sell them. You upsell them the
final, basically the email sequencing and.
Yes, but instead of the thing that I wanted to mention, that I think what used to work very well, the lead magnet, the free stuff, and then the paid stuff, and then I think no longer as effective. I'm not saying it's not going to work, but I'm saying you can get a probably higher cost. I don't know, $4, $8 per purchase, maybe even $20 per purchase. I think it still works with the right, you can call it coaching portfolio or product suite, whatever it is, right? You need to have the product suite. You need to have, and product, it's coaching package, mastermind, online course, whatever works for you. But you need to have various levels, various formats, as said, modalities, and then the paid traffic works, right?
So you mentioned productivity earlier, and I mean, to me, it's down to systems. So like productivity is having good systems in place. So is that's something that you're teaching your coach? Yeah.
Absolutely. So, and I think it's the simplicity and optimization. My favorite framework from Ari Maisel, productivity coach, is optimization, automation, delegation, right? So before you're like, oh, I'm going to hire this and that and that. No. You can see these days there are so many very successful one-man kind of. They still have some subcontractors, but like almost one-man build businesses, hitting 6, 7, whatever figures. That's totally possible because they follow this framework. They optimize. That means set up processes that are optimal. People trying to sell you so much. Buy this tool with AI. Oh my God, it's crazy. Buy this AI tool and that AI tool. Oh my God, upsell. They like, I have Notion. They're like, buy AI. I said, no, I don't need AI in my Notion.
And just on that, because you're talking about the upsell, like you see something and they'll tell you everything that this thing does, and you go, that's good value. You buy it, and then the upsell says, oh, but if you want this part, if you want an arm, you have to pay an extra, like 3 times what you've already paid. If you want its legs, and you're like, I thought I was buying the whole thing. So there's a lot of sneaky trickery. I've requested a lot of payments back based on the way that they do these things.
Yeah. And this breaks very important part of the relationship. I'm just keep coming back to relationship. That breaks trust. And if you're as a coach, again, coaching is partnership. You work together. If the trust is broken, there is no partnership. You cannot work with these people anymore. So going back to productivity. So what I do, optimize. So use only bare minimum, especially when you're starting out. You don't need those complex marketing systems. You need a simple email software. You need a system booking software like Calendly, or something similar. And you need a system payment system. That's it. That's what I teach my clients to start with. For everything else, you can use Google Sheets or Excel. These are great tools for CRM, for outreach and follow-ups. Like I use Notion, but Notion is $5 per month. Again, you can use very simple tech stack. You don't need expensive, kind of software. And then make sure you figure out what is the process. Create a simple SOP for yourself or for someone if you decide to automate or delegate later, and do the uncomfortable stuff. That's my kind of one of my main messages is people get themselves busy with the fun stuff. Oh, I'm going to buy this software and spend the next 20 days trying to figure it out, learn, set it up. Well, you could spend these 20 days doing outreach, 5 messages a day, 10 messages a day, then getting to the calls, inviting to the calls, 2 calls a day. By the end of these 20 days, instead of this new, shiny, useless software, you're going to have maybe 1 client.
You could have the best CRM system in the world, but if you've nobody to input it, what good is it to you?
That's kind of my main message. That's what I teach in the bootcamp. That's what I teach in the coaching. I say money making. You just read my bio in the beginning. Money making action. I'm upset. Or actually, money making action habit. This is my motto. Look, and you need to make it a habit. So instead of spending time, this is where productivity comes in. Instead of spending time of things that keep you busy, entertained, away from a scary and uncomfortable action. Often money-making actions are in the beginning uncomfortable, scary, not understanding, but if you learn the habit of doing it every day, you will be successful.
Excellent. And do you have a book, do you?
I actually do, but it's actually on a different topic completely. So for first years of my coaching practice, when I still had my Russian practice, I was helping women find their purpose, making their life meaningful beyond the social roles. That's what I did for myself. Once I left my successful corporate career, I found something I'm really passionate about, I love, and I enjoy. I started helping women do the same. And then I realized that it often happens around certain period of women's life, right? Around the midlife, 38, 45. Again, it depends on country by country, but I realized that usually women kind of first, they fulfill the social program or social obligations, whatever you want to call them. But then once they do it, build a family, get married, get kids, build a family, even do the career. That's what I did. I tick all the boxes. And then what? And who am I? What am I doing in this work? I'm not a service. I pay my bills, I pay my debts, but now what? I want to do something more. I want to show my talent, realize my mission, the different words, how you call it. So anyway, I was helping women. That was my coaching. And then I wrote a book on female midlife crisis and how women can use it to become themselves, to become, to realize and do things that they were born to do, I guess. That was my book. 2019. Yeah.
I'm hoping that you do one on coaching, just from this conversation, I know that you've plenty of experience and very valuable experience.
That's my plan. And I love writing. And writing is my jam. I love writing. whether it's, I think I've been writing for the last, 10 years every day, whether it's a post in Facebook, whether it's a page in my book, when I was writing a book or whatever. I just love writing. When I write, I'm in the zone. So the book is definitely coming. I just need to, I just need a spark of my, or muse whisper in my ear.
Well, I know that's one thing that you can do from the course that you've created. You can use the AI to take the text from it, and that creates a nice framework for the actual, and then build from there.
Great. Well, our conversation today was amazing. I think there were a lot of points that kind of stroke my nerve. So, and I need, when I write about something, that's usually what I'm passionate about. So definitely a few gems that I can now take further.
Listen, thoroughly enjoyed it. You might let people know where they can find you.
Absolutely. So getitdonecoaching.com, getitdonecoaching.com. That's an easy. I think so. Much easier than my name. Or LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the place where I hang out these days, every day, pretty much. Lidia Chmel, LIDIACHMEL. Lidia Chmel, and probably there will be links to that. LinkedIn or getitdonecoaching.com. Come there. Let's build relationship.
Perfect. I'd make sure, as you mentioned, I'll put it both on the audio and the video. But Lydia, thank you very much. Thoroughly enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah, me too. Thank you for having me.
Well, that's all for the Speaking Podcast. You'll find all our episodes on speakingpodcast.com. Be sure to give us a thumbs up, 5-star rating, share with your friends, and comment on what we discussed. We love to read your comments. Until next week, take care.